Insurance is the buzzword, and micro-insurance is now what is catching on. In fact, a lot of people are talking about reaching out to people who want these products. And one of the experts related to micro-insurance, who's done extensive research in India as well as in other countries, South Africa and Philippines, Dr. David M. Dror is here to speak on Big Fish tonight. And let's ask him what he thinks of the market in India and what kind of products that could make their way into a market like this. Thank you so much, Dr. Dror, for being with us and speaking to us.
Thank you for having me.
First, a sense of what the market is like and what kind of different products that could effectively mean better product, possibly make it easier for me to choose a product if I'm probably from the lower income strata.
There are many people in India. If we say many people, we say many people who also spend, who also have needs, who also have priorities. Offer them no choice and you will be able to capture no market. Offer them choice and you will have a market that develops. What I'm suggesting to you, that certainly in the domain related to health, and certainly in the domain related to health insurance, including micro health insurance, the market maker is the demand side, not the supplier. People want choice in health insurance, even when they are poor, even when they are illiterate, even when they live in remote places, may have escaped the health insurance industry. There is no such thing as one size fits all. The three parameters that determine the specific situation is: what is the local set of needs? What is the local set of accessible supply? And how much are people able and willing to pay?
So in this entire 7-year study that you carried out, how difficult was it? What lessons did you learn? How many languages did you manage to speak?
Well, there are always moments where you wonder why you do it. But those moments, luckily, are few and far between. Beyond the difficulties of distance and sometimes heat or cold and travel and the other elements, there is an underlying thought here. Why is it that insurance works so well for the rich and doesn't work at all, or almost at all, for the poor? Now, in my own personal biography, I was for a number of years a high-ranking official in the ILO, the International Labour Organization, which has competence in the UN system for social security. And I had occasion, from that point of view, to meet with all kinds of people in many countries whose responsibility it is to find solutions. We gave them advice, and we know how well the impact was on the ground. Not that big. The rewards of this process, the intellectual rewards, the rewards of seeing small advances in this knowledge, and being in many ways first mover also in this thought process, is a source of great satisfaction, not just of hardships.
So, Dr. Dror, when you would have gone to them first time, they would have thought of you as a foreigner trying to take their money, and God knows what you're going to do with that.
Absolutely. There is a process of trust building. When we come to villages, we're foreigners, we're strangers, we're a threat. We don't speak their language. We may come from a different place. So naturally, there is a certain degree of distance. But we have never, or almost never, come, so to speak, cold. And we explain why we're coming, what it is that we want. And we also came through a lot of intermediaries. When we did the household survey, we sent people who speak the local language, who look the same, who are the same. Because the answers that we would have gotten and the answers that we got in this way were not the same answers. and we were interested in the truth.
So how does the product now, these small micro health insurance products, how do they roll out? When do they roll out?
There is a process in this also. We don't push it. We offer people to make their own choice. We've done that experience in villages, as I said, in Rajasthan, in Uruli Kanchan, in other places which are difficult places, where people really live under very, very constraining conditions. When we finished this process, this game of choice called chat, choosing health plans altogether, and people could define what they wanted and the level of payment that they could consecrate, which was incidentally quite sufficient for their choice. They said to us, so where is it? We'd like to have the insurance now. Don't leave the village without this. Who knows when you come back? We want it. Quite the opposite of the typical agent who has to prompt maybe and convince, and they say maybe come next year before let's see first the success. To roll out the process, we need 3 pillars. The first, we need the underwriting, and we're working on this. This is not yet finished, this is work in progress. We're working on it to keep it cheap and to keep it sustainable. The second element is because we would like to reduce the price of the premium, we have to reduce all the elements that make the premium more expensive. In insurance, distribution, sales, package design, marketing and profit represent 60% of total. Much too high, much too expensive. We must reduce it. So one of the ways of reducing it is bring the administration to the village. Don't process claims in Mumbai. Process claims by the villagers, of the villagers, with the villagers, in the village. The second element is this. If we want villagers to be part of this administrative process, process claims, explain insurance to other villagers in their own language so that we don't have to come, they can do so. We need to train them. Nobody's born with this information. Everybody has to learn it. Insurance domain knowledge can be learned. This is why we created the Micro Insurance Academy.
So, when you come as a non-Indian entity trying to get into the market, trying to get to the people, trying to address the needs of a market, normally what has been seen is they skim the market. They go for normally the higher end. You are trying to approach the market from quite the other end. What will give you satisfaction?
Well, there are 2 components here. The component which is purely individual and the component of the project. From a purely individual point of view, there is a time to take and a time to give, a time to accumulate and a time to discharge of accumulation. Now, for me as a person, it is time to share and discharge, to give, not to accumulate.
So can this success, when this happens, when you have absolutely solid proof of this working in communities, be exported to other countries as a concept?
Absolutely. Look, this is not an Indian concept. This is a human concept. It bases itself on the dynamics of the community. The real beneficiaries are in the community, but they're not beneficiaries of a transaction of win-lose. They are beneficiaries of a transaction of win-win. We cannot make it work if it doesn't work well for the community.